Good morning. Thank you for being here. Given our limited time, I'm going to get right to it. Bottom line, Matterhorn's glucogauge monitor has faced a series of failures, hardware compatibility issues, app syncing errors, and now a third-party child labor scandal, all of which are impacting patient safety, brand trust, and our operations. We're here today to talk through the decisive actions that we've taken and the recommendations for what's next. Our goal today is simple: to clearly explain what happened, where we stand, and what we recommend to prevent further damage. Each member will walk you through a focus section of the briefing. I'm Dr. Amy Helene Schnall, VP of Communications, and I have with me here today Safarjeh Akramir, our VP of Product Development, who will break down the current situation and background. Ray Rigney, our VP of Strategy and Risk, analyzing the impact across the business. Christian Pecoraro, our Chief Supply Chain Officer, presenting our internal operational response, and Bill Armbruster, the Chief Marketing and External Affairs Officer. He'll outline our external response and our trust recovery strategy. But before we go any further, does anyone have any questions or additional agenda items that they'd like to add? All right, hearing none, let's get started with the high level summary. What happened, what we're proposing, and what we're asking from the board. So, what began as isolated user complaints has escalated into a compound crisis, impacting patient safety, brand reputation, financial performance, and even our regulatory standing. After weeks of investigation, we confirmed the root cause: an incompatibility between microprocessor and a specific test strip. Despite software fixes and user guidance, it wasn't enough. Then the situation escalated. A third party supplier was found to be using underage labor, prompting a government rage, regulatory investigation, and a wave of public backlash. The scandal took what was a product issue and turned it into a reputational and ethical crisis. But the good news is we have a clear, viable path forward. Our proposed solution is threefold: transparency with partners, dual sourcing to avoid future bottlenecks, and accelerated US manufacturing to build capacity and control. Together, these actions will reduce our risk by 70% and close the capacity gap within 4 months. We're asking the board to approve a $12 million recovery package, a CEO led public statement, and the creation of an ESG task force to restore external confidence. This isn't just about fixing a product, it's about restoring trust, protecting the brand, and rebuilding with accountability and purpose. So that's the big picture. I'll hand it to Safarjeh, who'll take us into the details, where things stand today, and how we got here.
Thanks, Amy. I'm Sarfaraji, VP of Product Development, and I will use the latest field data to show why we must act now on the three levers: transparency, dual sourcing, and added US capacity. Let's start with the product itself. The part is working. Of the 1 million monitors built, 880,000 are in patients' hand and fully updated. We completed 97% of our global recall and have pushed the residual failure rate down to 500%. That is well within the spec. Our net promoter score has climbed from the post-recall low of 8 to 41, signaling patient confidence is coming back. Market share has settled at 18%, only 2 points below last year's peak. So technically, the device is solid. The trust is recoverable. Now let's take a look at the crisis. 72 hours ago, cameras captured children being escorted from our Malaysian partner, the facility that makes 40% of our monitors and more than half our consumable strips. 75,000 updated units are now frozen inside that plant. Online, the hashtag Matterhorn exposed has already generated over 2 million negative mentions, and sentiment sits at minus 71. Regulators have noticed. Both FDA and Europe's MDR office issued formal information requests yesterday. This is the reputational wildfire we have to get ahead of first. Here is how we arrived at this moment. We launched in Q1, noticed the sensor drift in Q2, executed the recall in Q3, and by last week, we had completed the fixes and restarted the shipment, only to be hit by the child labor raid 3 days later. On the right is the fishbone analysis. The highlighted rib in red, the supplier validation, was compressed from the required 30 days to just 12 days under launch pressure. That same shortcut first let the sensor variance slip through, and now it has exposed a social compliance failure. One root driver, two very public crises. That is why our recommendations focus on dual sourcing, independent audits. With this root cause now fully mapped, Ray Rigney, our VP of Strategy and Risk, will walk you through the capacity recovery plan, the PLN impact, and the regulatory risk we must neutralize next. Over to you, Ray. Thank you.
Thank you, Safarjay, for framing the crisis. Let's look at global production impacts and how we intend to recover. As the map shows the closure in Malaysia, we can see that this will cause about 200,000 units to be removed from the quarter of production, as well as 2.5 million test strips. Our plants in Mexico, Germany, and China are all running at near or full capacity, which means we do not have a lot of flexibility to absorb this hit. Fortunately, we have two facilities in the US, East and West Coast, that are about 80% built. If we commit to around the clock commissioning and about a $5 million investment, we could bring one line fully up to speed in about 90 days. This would restore our total capacity. In the short term, we've secured a bridge partner in Ireland who can provide 125,000 units within 30 days. This is an additional cost of about $2.75 per unit, but gets us moving forward. This two-pronged approach leverages short-term bridge and a long-term ramp-up, allowing 62% capacity by 30 days and full recovery in about 90. The key takeaway is that this is solvable, but requires decisive investment and execution quickly. Now, let's look at our operational and financial impacts. If we look through the pain points that this has already caused, we are seeing that we already have about 200,000 units that are just below. What we see is that this balloons up to about 600,000 units in 90 days, and in 12 months, about 800,000 units are lost. From the financial standpoint, every unit loss costs about $40 in contribution margin. This puts a 3-month loss at about $12 million and projections of $16 million over the full year. Additionally, we have a working capital drag of about $8 million by day 30, which limits our R&D and future marketing. The most visible effect is to our stakeholders with a hit to earnings. This is going to cause a reduction of about 3 cents per month or 18 cents over 6 months. The bottom line is that every day we wait, this cost is compounding. I want to then focus on our external risks. On the left, you can see the heat map with our most pressing risks and threats on the top right. These are high likelihood and high impact. First, we are under FDA and EU regulatory scrutiny with a possible import hold already under review. This alone can paralyze our distribution in key markets. Second, our ESG rating has slipped in the BBB following child labor exposures. This caused concern from investors because some of them track environmental and social governance as part of their investment portfolio requirements. Third, a class action lawsuit is already forming around the supplier oversight failures that we have had. In the early stages, this puts about $10 million exposure from legal, and there could be bigger hits through the market. This could be seen as in some of the 6% share loss that we have across the board. This is equivalent to about $180 million in the lost market cap, but this is before the story fully broke in international media, so there could be more. This isn't just a regulatory, legal, or PR risk. It's all compounding, and the worse our brand reputation gets, the worse and harder regulators become. This makes lawsuits more valid and to juries as well as stakeholders. This is a domino effect that we're facing, and we need to recover this immediately. Now, I will hand this over to Christian for more analysis and recommendations.
Thanks, Ray. As we turn towards recovery, our success depends on understanding who we must persuade and how. This stakeholder heat map brings clarity, and in the top right quadrant with both high influence and high interest, we identify 3 essential groups: patients, healthcare providers, and regulators. These are our top priority stakeholders. They require assurance, transparency, and clear evidence of our corrective actions. Investors hold a significant influence as well, though their engagement is more long-term. Their focus is on the company's viability, governance, and strategic foresight. Our communications approach reflects these needs. For patients and providers, we will lead with empathy and data. For regulators, we are prepared to deliver comprehensive audits and sustained transparency. Investors will see a steady update that demonstrates control and accountability moving forward. This moment is not about just controlling damage. It is about earning trust and rebuilding belief with clarity, consistency, and resolve. All right, let's walk through the strategic options available to us right now. Option A, titled Wait and Hope, comes with no upfront cost, but carries the greatest long-term risk for the company. With no investment, we risk losing up to 18 cents in earnings per share, and we see further damages to our credibility. Option B, the opaque patch, involves a $3 million spend and delivers only limited improvements. It avoids transparency, which is precisely what our stakeholders are demanding right now. Our recommended path is option C. This is a fully developed plan that includes transparent communication, dual sourcing, third-party audits, and the acceleration of our US manufacturing capacity. The investment is $12.3 million, but the return is meaningful. It significantly reduces the reputational risk, stabilizes earnings, and rebuilds trust across every stakeholder group. This position has Matterhorn not just to recover, but to lead from a place of credibility and strength like we have been doing for years. So let's break down option C and see what that entails. From an investment and return perspective, we have $7 million dedicated to our short-term bridging of supply, ensuring product availability for all of our customers and healthcare providers. Next, we invest $5 million in accelerating US manufacturing, which is crucial for our long-term control and resilience in this market. Finally, we are going to allocate $300,000 for an independent audit program to help reinforce transparency and accountability. Although this $12.3 million in investment supports a 17% internal rate of return, our net present value breaks even by the fourth quarter of 2026. Now, this is not just a financial decision. This is a strategic commitment. We are going to show our stakeholders, our patients, our partners, our regulators, our healthcare providers, that we are not cutting corners. We are building something better within this company. Option C delivers an ethical, a financially sound, and a reputationally restorative path forward for Matterhorn Health. Now I'm going to hand it off to Bill for our next comments.
Now let's concentrate on our 90-day plan to restore trust and operational capacity here at Matterhorn. The main point here is we have a clear roadmap ahead. In the first 30 days, our emphasis will be on transparency. We will tailor our communications for the different audiences to strengthen our commitment to responsibility and openness. During the next 30 days, we will bring a bridge partner in to boost our production capacity and address supply chain vulnerabilities. Finally, from days 61 to 90, we will accelerate the completion of our US plants to restore production fully. Our strategic approach emphasizes responsibility, transparency, and action. Key steps do include issuing a public statement, developing channel strategies, forming a task force, and of course, conducting third-party ESG audits. These actions will increase capacity, enhance compliance, and ultimately rebuild stakeholder trust. Although this plan does require a significant investment of $12 million, the potential damage to our reputation makes prompt action necessary. On this slide, we outline our communication strategy to maintain transparency and effectively engage stakeholders. Internally, we will provide regular updates to keep our employees informed and aligned with our recovery plan. Externally, we will use press releases and briefings to inform the media and stakeholders, ensuring transparency and addressing any concerns. Social media management will be vital. We will monitor sentiment and issue official statements to shape public perception. And for our customers, we will update our website to reach out with personalized message to reassure them. Finally, we will create a feedback channel, gather stakeholder input, and conduct surveys to assess settlement and refine our strategic strategy accordingly. This comprehensive approach ensures open communication and helps build the trust back with our stakeholders. Now, looking ahead at our 90-day outlook, the outlook does does remain positive, with key performance indicators continuing to show improvement. We do anticipate a significant increase in production capacity as our dual sourcing and U.S. plant ramp-up effects are implemented. Financially, we can expect stabilization as we implement operational efficiencies and trust recovery strategies. Legally, we are strengthening our standing through compliance and transparency, reducing potential risks. Of course, quality remains a top priority, and we are committed to maintaining high standards to ensure product reliability and customer satisfaction. Our focus on reputation repair through strategic communication and stakeholder engagement aims to build long-term trust and operation stability. In summary, we are on track not to only recover, but also to lead with confidence and resilience. As we complete our detailed review of our trust recovery strategy and its implementation, it's clear we have strong plan to address these challenges and emerge stronger. With our strategic steps and clear communication, we are ready to rebuild trust and maintain operational stability here at Matterhorn. To close our session and offer final remarks, I'll turn it over to the VP of Communications, Dr. Amy Helene Schnall, who will share her insights on the upcoming plan and the role each of us will play in this journey. Amy, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Bill. You highlighted transparency as the first priority, and I couldn't agree more. That's where trust starts. I'll close this out by focusing on what it takes to actually get there. This crisis wasn't just about a faulty device. It was a breakdown across product, oversight, and supply chain. But we moved quickly, owning the issue, protecting patients, and restoring capacity. But now we have to lead forward. Our road ahead isn't just about restoring function, it's about restoring confidence. As Bill and Christian outlined, this means 4 things: operational stability, reputation repair, product improvement, and long-term trust. As Bill made clear, reputation repair isn't just a communication issue, it's a leadership issue. Every part of this organization has a role to play in regaining credibility. And like Christian said, it's not just a financial decision, it's a strategic commitment, one that signals we're investing not just in recovery, but in resilience. Our partners aren't asking for perfection, they're asking for integrity and action, and they'll measure us by consistency, not promises. So let's not just react, let's lead. We owe our partners, the patients, the providers, the investors, and the regulators more than reassurance. We owe them a plan grounded in action, accountability, and trust. The next 90 days are critical, but this is more than just a short-term recovery. It's about restoring confidence, strengthening systems, and leading with clarity and care. So thank you so much for your time and attention. We know this crisis has affected every part of our organization, and we really appreciate all the effort that's been in the response so far. So now I'm going to open up the floor for any questions or insights. We're listening.